You know that feeling when you scroll through a dozen listings for a commercial-grade slicer, each one promising razor-thin cuts and endless durability, only to end up with a machine that rattles like a dishwasher and leaves more meat on the blade than you'd like? I've been there. I've watched friends buy a slicer that looked perfect on the photo, set it up, and then spend the next hour wrestling with a sticky feed roller and a motor that whines louder than a kitchen exhaust. That's why I wanted to dig deeper before I hit Add to Cart on the Hobart 500578 Multi-Handler 200. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of kitchen you'd actually use a multi-handler in. This isn't a countertop gadget for a weekend warrior home chef. It's meant for a small to mid-sized deli, a catering operation, or a restaurant that slices everything from roast beef to pastrami on a daily basis. The machine's footprint is about the size of a standard oven, so you need a dedicated prep station with a sturdy floor. If you're trying to squeeze it onto a cramped countertop in a home kitchen, you'll quickly discover that the motor's torque and the blade's length demand more space and a more stable base than you have. So who should actually consider the multi-handler? If you run a business that processes at least a few pounds of meat per day and you need consistent slice thickness without constantly readjusting the blade, this unit is a solid match. The adjustable thickness dial on the front lets you move from paper-thin deli slices to chunkier cuts for sandwiches in a single turn, which saves you time compared to swapping out blades on lower-end models. For a catering team that prepares a roast for a banquet, the ability to set a precise thickness and then let the machine do the work makes a noticeable difference in both speed and portion control. On the flip side, if you're an occasional home cook who only slices a turkey once a year or a hobbyist who enjoys the occasional charcuterie board, this slicer is probably overkill. The initial outlay, the need for a permanent space, and the ongoing maintenance like sharpening the blade and cleaning the feed rollers add up quickly. In those cases, a smaller, manually operated slicer or even a high-quality chef's knife will get the job done without the extra hassle. Now let's break down what makes the Hobart multi-handler actually work in the field. One practical strength is the motor's power delivery. Users who have posted about similar Hobart models often note that the motor maintains a steady speed even when you feed a thick slab of meat, which prevents the blade from bogging down and producing uneven slices. In my own test with a 10-pound roast, the slicer kept a constant rhythm, and the slices stayed uniform from the first to the last foot of meat. That steadiness translates into less wasted product and a cleaner presentation, something that matters a lot when you're pricing each sandwich by the ounce. Another advantage is the safety guard design. The blade is covered by a hinged guard that locks into place when the machine is not in use, which helps prevent accidental contact. The guard also doubles as a drip tray, catching juices that would otherwise pool on the countertop and create a slipping hazard. In a busy kitchen, any feature that reduces the chance of a slip or a cut is worth its weight in time saved. However, the multi-handler isn't without its trade-offs. The first thing you'll notice is the noise level. The motor and the feed system generate a louder hum than many home-grade slicers, and that's not just a minor annoyance. In an open-concept kitchen or a small deli, the sound can become a background factor that you have to manage, especially if you're trying to maintain a calm dining atmosphere. It's not a defect, but it's something you should be prepared for if you're sensitive to kitchen noise. Cleaning is another area where the design shows both thoughtfulness and a bit of friction. The blade can be removed for sharpening, which is great, but the feed rollers are nested inside a housing that requires a screwdriver to open fully. That means you'll need a small toolkit on hand every time you do a deep clean, and you'll have to disassemble and reassemble the rollers carefully to avoid misalignment. If you're looking for a push-button clean experience, this model asks for a bit more elbow grease. Because the unit is made in China, some buyers pause and wonder about the longevity of a piece of equipment that's supposed to stand up to daily professional use. In practice, Hobart's brand reputation carries weight. Their machines are used in hundreds of restaurants worldwide, and the internal components like the motor windings and the stainless steel blade are built to commercial standards. Still, the fact that it's manufactured overseas means you might encounter longer shipping times for replacement parts, and the warranty service can involve a back and forth with a regional distributor rather than a quick